Hello, bonjour.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, my heating is not working, so
that's an issue.
don't you see me? I don't. No.
No.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, I would like to show you my first issue. The table. I don't know how to build. Yeah, I can share my screen.
Yep.
Which one? Well, this is my screen. Well, okay, this is not a nice layout.
No worries.
Do you see my whole screen?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So
it's huge, by the way.
yeah, it's really huge. It's a gaming monitor.
Nice.
But I don't play with it. I just work.
Okay.
So here I have a table, nice table, which I can also update. This works. No, it doesn't work actually. But if I add some fields here again, let's say I I duplicate this field here. This one, duplicate. Sometimes it's really difficult to actually, yeah, okay, now duplicate. And, oh, it has worked. No, I didn't duplicate the correct one, I think. Anyway, it will destroy the whole table.
Copy paste. Yeah.
Copy paste, even copy paste. Okay.
But you can copy paste that. It will work.
Okay. Now you see what happens. Everything is destroyed because I have about 14 columns. And this is the first one, by the way.
It's dynamic. You need the columns to be a dynamic value. I mean, it's not always a fixed number of columns in here.
It's always the same.
Okay. So your issue is when you are building this table.
Yeah.
In each time you create a new column. Okay.
Not each time. I already created some tables, some columns, but if I add one more, or I need about 3 columns more, and I can't do that. Or at least I don't see them. Maybe they are there. I think they are there. Huh? Probably they are there.
If you reduce the size of the first column, you would see them, I think.
Yeah, you could use the handle because you're using the flex boxes.
Oops. Yes. So. Where am I? No. Oh, I think I've. Where am I? Oh, it's something has gone.
Yeah, because you drag and drop some elements of the form in the
okay,
table.
wait a minute. I will.
So, yeah.
Go back.
Yeah.
Go back. And
you see here this first div, it's taking the whole space. So if you make it smaller, you will see the other ones.
So
this is something I tried already, but it doesn't work.
It's
you see, I cannot do it.
Can you select the line? Can you select the line, please? The container called line. Yeah, it's in here. It's a column element. So let's see. In here, you've got units count 12.
Okay. Yeah, I see this. Yeah.
Yeah, the column element, the table is built with this element, which is a column, and you can decide the unit count of the column, so you can create kind of a grid system in it. So, for example, sometimes it's better. It's often 12 is a nice number, so you can divide then
the width of each. You mean if I have 15, I can just
exactly.
Yes, you can.
Or you could use percentages.
Oh no, there's too much. Let's say I'm using. Okay, that's already very nice.
And then you can determine how many units a div will take. So for example, you could say 15 and each div is 1, or you could say even more, so that you can have like bigger children, inside it.
Yeah. Okay, good. And I also don't need all these columns. They are just there because otherwise I cannot update, because I need all values. You understand what I mean?
Weird.
I cannot.
No.
The view
you
or
don't have to...
update uses. I tried already. If I don't use include every field here, I cannot use it for updating.
What's this?
Because it's always taking.
Weird.
It's always taking the value from the selected line. And if, for instance, some column isn't included in the selected line, I cannot use it for updating.
Can you show us the workflow?
Yes, of course. Going here.
I guess you need to select the line and then.
Oh, I don't. Where is it now?
It's on the line, I think, because you've got the.
I have to go to the other container. This one.
Yeah.
Okay, so the update.
Okay, so in here, you bound to task ID. I guess you need to click on a line, right? And then you save this value into a variable. Is it?
Yeah, this is included, but you see everything. I didn't assign everything right now, just because I.
Okay, this is why.
Work.
So, so if you scroll up, yeah, just go back here. You can select the fields. You see in here you've got all fields.
You mean it's here in this?
Just after task ID, yes.
Yeah,
this one.
Okay.
And in this one, you can select only the columns you need to update.
Yeah, but if I don't select, okay, the task ID is an auto-generated column.
Yes, because it's your primary key.
Yeah. I also created that. I don't need. But all the others, if I don't include something, it won't update, or does it work? Because if a field is empty, it will delete.
No, it depends if you're doing a post request or a put request. Like you're using your API. And Supabase handle this as Xano. So normally you've got an option. If you're not passing the key, it won't update this key. So you're not obliged to send the whole object back.
Okay. That's already nice. Yeah, nice to know.
Normally in here, if you just select, for example, t_quantity, it will update only this.
And the rest won't be updated at all. You don't need to pass everything. Depends on the API you're using, but Supabase handle this really nicely.
Oh, that's great. But of course, I don't know before what will be changed. So I have to update every field.
Then what
because
what you could do, what you could do is have a default variable that will save the value that is coming from your collection with all the columns. And then according to what you want to display, you could display like bind your table to a computed like a different object. So saying, for example, I don't need this column, I don't need this one. But if you need to update, you could choose to revert back to the first variable. So you need to construct actually this workflow in the front end, saying like, I have my default values, but if I don't want to use them, like I will revert to them, for example.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do it just quickly. In here, so let me understand here. So you've got a table on the left.
Yeah.
And then I guess you need to select. So when you click on the line, you select this line, right?
I just make a little preview. So if I select project here, it's there is no task for this one. So here is a task. Here are two tasks. And
then you select a task.
Yeah, I select the task, and then something is already entered. But I didn't I didn't add all fields I could update. Actually, I could update every field in this table. Because, well, maybe there's another due date or another client or something.
So do you want to always display them? Like,
yeah, I would like to have a dialog like this one for a new task. Here I have all fields, and some are already pre-filled with values from the project table here.
And why aren't you using the same one then? This one?
Because this is a new task and this is a view or update.
Because in Supabase, you've got upsert action. And this one is really nice because if you don't provide any ID, it would create a new one. And if you provide an ID, you will update it.
Okay.
So you could use only one.
Well, why not? Yeah, okay. This is a good idea. I know that upsert exists, but I didn't use it.
Yeah, it's really powerful, really, for this use case.
Okay.
But then, just to be sure, do you want to display, like you want to display all the fields in the form, but it's in the table that you don't want to display all of them?
Yeah, this is not necessary because I just want to have the most important fields here.
But then what you could do is that instead of binding to the collection, you could bind to a filtered object of the collection, you know, like using a formula, for example, saying, I don't want this key or this key, you know, but then, and maybe we'll build it with Flow just after, but when you select the line in the table, you will still pick the right object. And because you've got the whole collection, you still know what are the values, you know. It's just that the view you're binding is a subset of the collection. But because you still have the record ID, you can still match the proper record and have all the fields. So, but yeah, let's do it, for example. Which field do you want to bind?
I also wonder why.
Yes, sorry.
Can't I just hide some fields? I didn't find a hide property.
You don't have. Can you show us how you bound the line? Because I think.
Wait a minute. Let me see.
There is a confusion here. So yeah, in here the flex. Yes, perfect. So in here you've got the collection, but the flex box, the columns in here, you didn't bind the line. Yes, no, you bound it. Can you show us
the line?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Bind the...
Well,
in the first tab, yes, in the
design.
Yes, here. Can you show us the just the first tab in here? Yes, the style one. This one. Okay, so you didn't. That's what. So in here, as you didn't bind to a collection, in here you can do anything you want. You don't have to create a column for each property in your object. You can just add 3 flex boxes in here, and then bind the text to anything you like in your context. You don't have to bind everything. If you wish to have only 5 columns, then just add 5 flex boxes inside. You will have 5 columns. You can bind the text or anything inside each cells, and then you can keep working with this big object with everything and play with it. But you don't have to display it on your screen. It's not necessary.
Yeah, it's not because it's not displayed that it's not in memory. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's in the collection, in the, let's say, in the variable selected line, in the object,
exactly.
in the object.
Exactly. So if you want, you can display only the ID, for example, or only the title, anything you want. But you're not obliged, as Flo said, to display everything. And by the way, if I were you, if you want to just display elements of a collection in a table way, I would use the data grid elements. It's way easier to display lines and columns using the data grid elements.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I didn't, test everything. I just followed some videos from Joyce.
Yeah. But this is the most flexible approach, what you did. You can do anything with this, but you can use, as Q said, the data grid element that is a bit more opinionated and maybe easier to use for simple use cases.
Okay, so I think I can play around with that. But now I want to show you my most important problem. If I add a new task, this doesn't work. Wait a minute, where is it? New task collection.
Let's try.
Container. I can show you the workflow.
No, it's on the form container. By the way, if you want to find your workflows in the navigator, you could see the lining icon on the elements. It means you have a workflow on them.
Okay. Here you mean?
Yeah, like the form container has a lining icon. So
here
this workflow. Yeah.
Flash.
Yeah, and the plug means you have a binding, and the I, which is crossed, mean that it's hidden.
Here is
all these things. You see.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, here, for instance, in this, I have a little suggestion, because you don't see what variable is used as in the text. Here you can see it. It's task PO number, but here I can't see what is here. I have to go to the settings and have a look. Which variable?
Yeah, you need to rename them manually in here.
You mean this one? I could rename, and then I know.
Like if you double click, for example.
Okay, yeah, but here it's not necessary, because it's automatically saying which variable I have used here, or which column. Okay, doesn't matter. I just show you this workflow and run a test, and then you will see what happens, and I can explain why there is this error.
Open the cause, like you see in the logs, you've got the cause object. You can
the last one.
The last one. Because actually what we return here, like people sometimes don't understand, it's the results of your backend. So what the backend is sending back. So you need to interpret the results of this backend, because it's different for any backend. So Supabase has one, it could be different for other ones. But if you see like next to cause, the last one, the last line, you've got a small arrow.
You need to open,
and if you click
here.
it, you can. And here you're invalid input syntax for type numerics. Supabase is saying to you, like, you have some field, I don't know which one, maybe it's the one called 22p02, should be a number, and you're sending I think you're sending a string then.
Here you can see my definition of this table, and I actually can't see any problem here. Number. I compared these definitions with this with the sent data. I can't find any error. Maybe no.
Maybe the ones that are sent like that are empty, because discount % or manual unit rate, I don't know if those are numbers too, but if you're sending an empty string, it's still a string. It's not a number. So you need to send nothing, like null, for example, or not even send them in the API call.
Or you can use a formula called toNumber.
Yeah, but two numbers of nothing will yield an error, no?
Am I?
That's a good question.
No, but I think you can just remove the key then.
You mean if? Yeah, okay, but sometimes I have to send a discount %. Sometimes, so this is
you can use OR. You can use OR. So can you select discount %? For example?
I'm looking here.
Okay, so in here you can do this, and just after that, you can add OR. So if you select in the formula, you've got all the operators.
The formula tab. Yeah.
No, wait a minute.
You can do %, like the and sign in JavaScript.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you do it twice,
but it will be and for this one, not or.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I see.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot.
It's
the line
located on the keyboard. But you can find all of them in the formula tab. So if you select the last one, yes, in here, you've got or.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So you can remove and. Yeah. Put or.
You can just click on it also. Yeah.
Okay.
And type in null. Yeah, like this. So what it does is it's if the first one is empty or null, it will use the second part. This is a trick.
Like
it's a
it will use the first one if it's truthy, you know, like if it's true. So true in programming is like it has something in it. Otherwise, it will be null. And null is the equivalent of you know, nothing.
Nothing.
In JavaScript.
Yeah. Okay.
Otherwise,
same one for this one probably.
Yeah, because actually an empty string is still something, and it's still a string. So the database is saying, I don't want an empty string because I should have a number, for example.
Okay, let's test again.
And I think you've got another one, manual unit rate.
Well, okay, but if this is the reason, then of course I can fix it.
It's the last one. Let's try the last one. We want to
this
win. Manual unit rate, I think.
But this is, for instance, program ID is always is never.
Not this one.
No. Manual unit rate.
Manual.
It's a bit above.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. You're right.
I guess you have to do it for this one too.
Okay, let's try again.
Okay,
this is much better.
It's another issue.
Yeah, this is another issue.
Constraints. Okay, so maybe because you already have it in your backend, and
you have an ID that is already existing and that should be unique. So the database is saying, I don't want this ID.
Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot see which one here, but
this is basically Supabase debugging, and then you should adapt the API call in WeWeb.
Own task ID already. Okay, that's great. Yeah. Okay, you did a great job already.
You're welcome.
Nice.
Okay, now, unfortunately, another issue, but this is always, this is also, I think, interesting for people who, well, for the other participants, I hope so at least. If I add, this is the reason probably, because I already have 1 and 2, and I should have entered 3. And this is exactly my problem. How can I find the last value in this list, in the field, in the own task ID field? This is this one. It should be 3. This is why I entered this alert here, and I made this exactly my mistake.
Honestly, I think it's bad practice to do this on the front end.
You see? Huh?
Yeah.
Now it's automatically
but you could have
because I'm on the last line.
Yeah, but honestly, you will have error doing this. You shouldn't do stuff like this in the front end. To my opinion, you should do this on the back end and tell Supabase that when you're creating a task, it should get the last ID and generate the ID +1. And you could have rules in Supabase telling Supabase to do this before to do an insert, because if there is an error in your front end, like it will always reject, and stuff like this should be done on the back end.
Okay, I will have to find out how to do that, but I will find out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing, the date. I want to store the date and the time, the time for instance, a deadline. But this is not possible in well, WeWeb. I store.
Do you use a date time input?
No, I don't. I'm not sure.
This is, well, I have to go to
I think you selected a native one, but we will show you another one that is a lot better. So can you click at the add panel at the top? Yes, in here. And can you type in date? So I think you should use the second one.
This one?
Yes. This one.
Date and time. Okay. Okay.
You will like that one because I think you use the basic input. So this input, on this input, you can, as like you did, select dates, but it will be the native date picker of your browser.
Yeah.
So it's a bit simple. But this one is a lot better because you will be able to customize it, and then you will be able also to select the time. And the standard format for your backend. So
that's great. Okay, and does the and I also found that the date seems to be formatted like the Windows settings, local settings.
Depends on the input, Like with some inputs you can change, but also if you go to plugins and you add the date plugin, you will have formulas in the bindings to manipulate dates, to change the time zone, for example, the formatting to set up to a Unix timestamp, for example, so that you can convert it to a format your database will understand.
Okay.
Let me find the docs for this, but I think we've got a doc on dates. We've got docs on dates, so I will send it to you. I send you the docs also on the data grid in the chat. But for this manipulation, you could ask WeWeb Copilot or check the docs, because for all these elements and formulas, we definitely have documentation on them.
I didn't see that. Maybe I didn't look thoroughly. Thank you for.
No worries.
This is interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I know everything now. Of course, there's still some work, but you know, the project management system we are using right now will the subscription ends next weekend, and so I have to replace it. I think I can do it now.
Well, perfect. Don't hesitate to reach out if you struggle or to post something in the community if you need help.
Thank you very much.
And by the way, if you're in a hurry, we have like experts in WeWeb and Supabase that could maybe help you if you're okay to pay for freelance, for example, or for an agency, like if you're in a hurry, because these people, like the kind of errors you showed, they will catch them like right away, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's mostly a problem of like getting data from tool A to tool B. So it's like data types and this kind of things. When you're used to tools, it's way faster to spot them, obviously.
Yeah.
So
for instance, and these are freelancers or companies?
So it can be agencies and freelance, and you can find them on like our WeWeb agencies page on the website.
Yeah, I already had a look at this page. Well, if I don't manage to do it till tomorrow afternoon, I will get back to them. Thank you very much.
No worries.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I see that we have new people. So as always, feel free to present yourself in the chat. And if you want to ask questions that we'll answer during the office hours, please ask them in the questions and answer panel. So we'll get to Pascal. So Pascal has the same issue as last time, Flo. So I don't know if you had time to check this, but like grouping on a lookup column in Airtable.
Yeah, I know how to do it. I thought about it just a few days ago. I didn't have the time to write into the community, but I can do it. I can. You can invite Pascal, and I will do it. It will
be let's invite Pascal then.
Easier like this because I see that we
nice
time flies. But I wish I was in and just do it myself.
And then we have Fred and Neil. Hey Pascal.
Hello, nice to see you again. Just before we start, to tell you, I swapped to Supabase, so I'm not on Airtable anymore because I need row-level security for my project. So now everything that I will show is linked to Supabase, not to Airtable anymore. And I simplified my table because I do not succeed in simply grouping on a field which is within the table. I don't try to link to another table.
Okay.
later, but I just want to group or to get a single lines by country ID, but I can't succeed in that.
Wow. Let me show you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the logic will stay the same, like even when you're changing backend. And we'll definitely do a tutorial around this, so I will check what Flo is doing, and I will redo this.
I was wondering, because I understand you haven't had the time to do that, but when you do share some tutorials coming after these sessions, where can we find them?
On our YouTube channel.
Okay, in a special section on your YouTube channel, or?
I think most of the time they will be on the quick tips playlist. Otherwise, they can be on the small courses, because I know that Joyce is doing courses on WeWeb and Xano and WeWeb and Supabase. So it depends. But I will send you the channel, and what you can do is in YouTube.
I do have a shortcut to your channel now, because I'm using it a lot.
Wonderful.
And what I'm doing is that, sorry, Flo, but like in a few days, you'll have WeWeb Copilot will answer you with articles from the docs and also videos from our YouTube channel. So you will be able to ask WeWeb Copilot as well. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Flo.
Okay, let's jump in. Well, you can also go there. For example, Neil was asking for scrolling here, and I wrote something just after the office hour. So I put an office hour tag in here and tutorials also. But let's jump into there. But it's perfect if you are using Supabase, because I just created in here a table with many products. So just ID, products, and a tag like you had with the countries, if I remember well.
Exactly.
And so some values in here. And I put the tags somewhere else. So let me just remove this. So my tags are quite simple. Okay, just a red, blue, green for this ID. Okay. So if I go here, let me zoom. So I've got the collection. So in here, I've got all my products. So just Supabase, products, no pagination. Just I load everything in here. Simple. And then I've got the tags. So in here, I've got the tags. And what I did, because in your use cases, you were using two tables. So with Airtable, and the good practice with Airtable is not to load all the tags, because maybe you are in the data you are going to load, you are going to be to have just 3 IDs inside. So you don't want to load all the tags. And if you don't want to load all the tags, you need to filter it in the create configuration. And you can do that in here by saying you just want the records with the IDs, with the easing operator. And in here, I used a rollup formula. So I used all the array from my previous table in here, and I'm just looking into tag ID. And so it creates an array with just the IDs that are used into the products that I got. So by doing that, I won't load everything. I won't load all the table.
Yeah, okay, I understand.
That's the trick. So this is how you can do that. So once you do that, let's create quickly a table. So table here, let me add it here. And so you wanted to group by the content there. So I've got the table, the header, okay, and the list. So basically, I would like to repeat this. Basically, I would like to do something like maybe like this with, let's put a text before. So I will add a container because I can only repeat a container. So yeah, here. So this would be my group. Okay. And inside my group, I would add the title of my group and a list. Okay, let me remove this one.
Actually, this is not exactly what I'm trying to do. I want to sum the value for each tag.
Yeah, but you wanted to sum each groups, right?
No, there you have 3 tags, if I did see well. So what I would like to end up is a table with only 3 lines, summing the values for each tag.
Well, this is what I'm going to do, but just with the details. But
Okay. Okay, sorry.
I could do that later. But for example, this one could be just the title of the group, and I will put the sum in here, just to for the exercise. So what I want to do in here is to repeat the groups. So let me just, yes, this is the groups I want to repeat. So I need one more container in here just to repeat this one. Okay, perfect. So I want to repeat everything here. So this is the group container basically there. And there, this is one group. Okay. So I can go here, and basically in here, I need an array.
Yeah.
So I can do the same formula that I did before, just a rollup to generate this array, and I will, oh, I can just use my tags, sorry. Don't need to do that. Okay. So in here, I've got 3 groups based on each tag I have. And so now I can select that text. So this text is just red. And in here, I can bind to, yes, sorry. Up, I need to do something else. This will be the sum in here, but I would do that later. Before, let me unbind. Up. I need to do something else. So now I need to repeat my products in here. So let me simplify a bit my flex boxes because I don't need all of them. It's not that to do.
I think you need to delete the line, yeah.
Yes, just to.
Nice.
Okay, so in here, I need to bind now. I basically what I want is my products in here, but just the products filtered with the group I have here. So I can use the filter by key formula. It's quite powerful. And the filter by key needs first the array, then the key. So I will use all the products I loaded. Then the key was tag underscore ID, if I remember well. And it's working, perfect. And the last one was the value, yes. So, and the value is coming from the context in here. So I won't use the name in here, I will use the ID. And so now it should work better. Okay.
How does it understand that it shall take the value with just item data ID?
So you did that before, right? This is what you said, sorry. Can you
Yes, sorry. For the value you selected in the context, you selected item data ID. That's where I don't understand why it would take the value, because your value in your collection wasn't the ID.
Yes, it was.
It was. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yes. In
Okay.
here I've got products. And in products, it's a linked value. It's the ID of the tag.
Okay.
And this is why I've got both, because first, and this is the trick, first you need to group by tags. You group by this. And once you did that, you can now repeat in here, create your array filtered with the context, with the ID here.
Okay.
And so now when you click here, normally I should be able to find the product name. So in here. And so for example, in here, I could bind to the ID of the tag. And if I don't want the ID, I can do a lookup. I just look up for, so the value, in here, in my
tag collection.
In my tag collections, exactly. And so I've got the object, and I'm a bit lazy, so I'm going to do that. And so I can see that in here I've got only red, and then I got only blue, and so on. And so now let's sum. So in here, what I need to do, so it's to, let me put the value here. Okay, so I've got all the values, and basically I just want to sum from here to here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I can select this text, and let's do this with a formula. So first, I need to use again the filter by key to get just the lines I want here. So it was filter by key, first the array, so of my products, then the key tag
Underscore ID.
Tag ID, thank you. And then the value here. Okay. So in here, I've got an array of objects, and basically I just want an array with all the values. So I can use again the rollup. Rollup is perfect for this. So I want to roll up the array based on my key value.
Interesting.
So now I've got all the values of my array.
Yeah, so you will do a rollup sum.
Exactly. Oh yes, I could do a rollup sum. I just forgot we had also this one. I was about to do some, but yes, you could do rollup sum. I forgot about that one, but yes.
Funny, because I would have done a map or reduce something. So
yes,
there are so many ways to do this.
Exactly. You could also do it in JavaScript with a map and everything, but I just wanted to keep this simple with those formula. But yes, rollup sum does both of this. So this is this one, so I could just
again,
do that.
To be honest, if you've got like many values coming for your backend, doing a sum each time could be quite intensive in the user browser. So the best practice would be to do this on the backend and maybe have an endpoint, and you can filter by tag ID, and then having a key on top saying the sum, for example. Because now you're on Supabase, so you can customize Supabase. It would be the same with Xano. Because if you've got, the thing is, like in WeWeb, it's okay with the example because we don't have like that many lines. But if you have like thousands or millions of lines and you're doing filter by keys all the time, could take like lots of time to get computed in on the user browser, you know.
I understand. But once again, my real objective is to, or maybe I need to do my summary tables in Supabase, I don't know, but because my real objective is to end up with a table with only 3 lines, for example, because then on the table, I want to sort my table, I want to compute some share from one line above the total. So how can in Power BI, I will do it with a data grid in Power BI, I will get exactly that. What I'm trying to do is really a BI table. So it's not a goodbye on seeing the rows for each group. It's really having a summary table and then working with the summary table.
I think I would do a view. Yeah, in Supabase. Yeah. I think Flo is doing this, but what Power BI and analytics tool are doing is that behind the scenes, they're building a SQL query to get a computed view of the database. So you should do this in Supabase and maybe ask WeWeb to send this query to Supabase.
Okay, and how does the view works with row-level security?
I think it's like a table. So when you create a view in Supabase, it's considered as a table. You can even use this as a collection in WeWeb. So you can assign row-level securities to it. Except you can't pass data. I think you can just read data from it.
Of course, you can't pass data to a view, but does that mean that depending on the users, the view is being recomputed every time?
I think you can use a user in the view, but you would need to check the Supabase doc because it's been a long time.
You can pass data to a view, like a function.
Okay, so I'll try that.
Yeah, and in PostgreSQL, you also have like materialized views that are dynamic all the time. I think Supabase handled this too.
Okay, I'll try it this way.
I'm not inspired with the prompt, but
okay, thanks a lot.
No worries.
You can use that to create a view in here, and it's secure. So basically, you could ask ChatGPT to help you with this, and then you will find your views in here.
Okay.
Yeah, if you save them
with it, and you will be able you will find the views like any table, and then use the data into.
I'm fine with SQL. My wonder was more about why would my view recompute depending on the user using the WeWeb front end.
Yeah, then you need to add some logic into your formula in there.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. That's much more clear.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, let's. So Fred is asking, what are your best practices around managing identifying variables that are automatically entered when adding an element to a page? So I think like input, for example. Because I've been adding elements to pages as I've been experimenting with WeWeb, my variables list is a disaster. How can I find the variables that are relevant to the page I'm on? So maybe, do you have any tips on this flow? But basically, like when you drag and drop elements, it's creating many variables in the project. So how do we know which one are linked to a page? I mean, I think we need to rename them or use folders, because we don't have this right now.
Yes, right now to manage variables, you need to create folders. So variables are global for now. And if you wish to know,
yeah, you can. I will invite you, Fred. But it's just that we know the thing, and there's no solution right now except using folders.
So you need to click on Find Variables to check where it is used. If it's not used, you can delete it. But what we are going to hi, Fred. What we are going to do is to release components. So thanks to components, you're gonna have internal variables inside. So it's going to be a bit really more scoped. And we are talking about creating just scoped to a page variable. So you should be able to create variables for global, variables for pages, and variables for components. But right now, there is no really nice way to manage this. When you drag and drop an element, if it's using a variable, just untoggle it. If you already have a variable, so it won't create a new one when you drag and drop it. And then to find.
Sometimes I can't remember whether I've used one on another page or something, so that variable may have been loaded multiple times. So I get copy.
Yeah, I understand. But you need to click on Find where it is used. You know that feature on variables? You can find where it is used.
So okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, by the way, one quick comment from last week. You guys, Q, you were asking me on this mobile menu thing why I didn't use a pop-out menu for the mobile to get that animation, and then just use a different kind of element on the desktop, because that would be more flexible. And I did end up changing to do that. So now I have this menu as just an element on the page, but for mobile only, I'm using this this fly out menu. Anyways, I just wanted to point out that your comment was quite good last time, and I've changed it because of that.
Cool.
But if I go to I want to go to this alert. Let me just get back to my desktop view. So I added toast, for example. There's a toast thing at the bottom here. You know, it says we added a feature, and I know that there's a variable that's the message, and there's also a variable that is called display. Okay, that gets triggered when, you know,
the same objects, I thought.
So if I go onto that element that's I don't know if it's, do I do it like this to see the, or sorry, let me go to variables. And would I go in this middle tab or would I go under the data?
No, in the data.
The data.
Yeah.
Okay, so I go to variables here. If I search for display, so I know that there's folders and I can create my own folders and so forth. But if I search for display, which I believe is the variable name that you guys use.
Yes, you had many of them.
I can't find it anywhere. These are all just ones that I've done before, and as you can see, how many times this is gets so messy because I have so many different things here. I haven't cleaned up yet, but
can you click on display to see just which one is used on your?
Click on this
on the right.
On the variable.
Yes. Yeah, in the
yes.
on the sidebar in the display where it is bound.
Where it's bound. Okay.
Right. Yes, in here. So yes, it's alerts variable. It's not display. It's not using display. It's using alerts. It's an object with everything inside.
Oh, okay. So I was trying to figure out why, because I haven't used this toasting yet.
Yeah, if you click on a title, it should be the same. It should be bound to alert.title, something like this.
This one right here.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's not display. It's alert.
Okay, so what I don't understand is how would I use this? How do I
so normally it should come
how
also
do I call this toast?
Let's do this. So go to, let's find the alert variable. Can you go to the list of variables?
I was looking for the wrong name, I guess that's the problem.
Yeah. But maybe yes, it's this one.
So this, yeah, I saw this one, which is basically have all the elements in here in a variable.
Yeah, exactly. So the trick is to edit this object, and normally you should. So you see, for example, in here you've got display false. Yes, by default is false. So perfect. This is the default value of your variable. And normally, if you go to the workflows, so just the global one, yes, this one, you should see display alert. So you can use this workflow. You see in here by default, it's you've got parameters on the right. So in this workflow, when you are going to execute it, you're going to have to type in a type, your title, description, if you want or not a CTA, and the link and the time you wish it to remain on the screen. So you will be able to edit this workflow. So let's use it. So can you select or can you add a button on your page so we could test it?
Sure. Let me just go back to the page and what's this? Go at the top. Can't go to the top.
Oh, you need to go into a section. Yes. Yes.
Okay. That's.
Yeah, we brought something.
So where's my button? Oh, there it is. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. No worries. By
Actually,
the way, I send the docs on the alert system in the chat for everyone that want to see how to use it.
So it doesn't matter how this looks, but okay, so I have a button there and I want to.
You've got the button. Yes, exactly. Put a workflow on it. And in here, you need to execute. So execute. And you can execute workflow. And in here, you will see you can click and you see on the right, you can choose a global workflow. And in here, you've got display alert. And you've got all the parameters. So for example, in here, you can type success, just enter success in the value. I think it's lowercase by default. Yeah, this one is opinionated, but you'll be able to, and then a title, a description, like it works or something. Yeah. Perfect. And you can let the CTA false or true if you wish. It's just the button you can see
Yeah, because I want to show that.
And so, yeah, you need to display true. Yes, this one, display true.
Oh,
and
sorry, that's what I thought.
And you need to put a delay also, but because the workflow is a bit old, we should put some default values in there. It's a milliseconds, so 2000 for example.
Yeah.
Okay, you can click that. You can close and just test it.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Now I understand how to use it. I appreciate it. But in the meantime, the other question about how I can find my variables.
If you go in the data tab again, and if you go in the variables, it's the same with workflows, but if you click on any variable, so for example, pick one. No, we like just click on the name, yeah. And if you see find variable at the end of the panel, like under save, and then you will see which elements and workflows are using it. So if you click on this, and if everything is red, it's not used in your project, so you can delete it.
You can delete it.
Okay, got it.
You can also
that will help me clean it up, because if I've already deleted.
Yeah.
Is this true? Is this true? If I let's say add some object for some element and it has variables, and I've added it multiple places, but then I went and deleted those off the page, does that mean it's not going to be used there anymore?
It will be bound to something that does not exist, so it won't work. You're
so
gonna have
show. Okay, so this is how I can go through all those ones that say copy. Just click on them and see if it's being used, and if it's not being used anywhere, I can delete it.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. You've helped me a lot.
You can
appreciate it.
You can rename them also.
Yeah. Once I do that, then I can know which one is which, and I can rename them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Although it would be nice to be able to rename them. You know how when you add it to the page and you ask, do you want to use the variables or not?
Yes, true.
That's a good feedback.
You can open up the variable and you can see that it says display, but it'd be nice if I'm using this thing to display my favorite color, then I could make a change there, so I could, when I go back to the variable list, I'd be able to identify it in a more user-friendly way.
That's
just
true.
an idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Bye. That's a really nice idea. I think it will be a ticket tomorrow. Okay, so Neil has a question on the scroll to bottom with the collection. I think we didn't answer this last time, or
no. Yes, I did in the community.
Okay.
I created a post, but obviously I failed. If you couldn't manage to do it, Neil.
Okay, so let's invite Neil.
Hello, what's up, guys?
Hey.
I am back. All right, let me show you guys what's going on here. Yeah, if it can't be figured out within 2 minutes, no problem. I'll keep trying to figure it out on my own, but I just want to see if I'm doing anything wrong here. So let me share my screen. Okay, here we go.
I'll begin a leaderboard or like prizes for people that come to the office hours every week.
Yeah, dude, I'll be on top of that board.
I think you're not the only one, but yeah.
I always put off my client calls for these calls as well. Oh, oops, wrong section. Okay, so I got it all set up how you had laid it out in the post on the community tab. And it does scroll, but it scrolls only around like 10% of the way. And I'll show you where the end of container div is inside the list here.
Did you use Y%?
Did I use what?
Like, show me the workflow.
Why? Sorry, I cut out there, Flo. Say that one more time.
Can you show me the workflow where you?
Oh, yes, I can show you the workflow. Yep, 1 second. So let's go here. All right, so the custom JavaScript action is right here. I changed it to instant from smooth, by the way. That's the only one I changed, though.
Yeah. I thought about it when I click post. I say, oh, I should have.
Yeah, it's okay. I
used
checked
the
it out.
insert instead of smooth for your use case.
So this all looks good, right?
Yes, it is. But where are you using the fact that it's visible? Oh no, maybe I'm confusing with another use case. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I can show you the panel here. So I do have the end of the container div here, applied the ID set to a height of 0. So as you can see, it's underneath here still, right after the scroll. When I click on it, the background scrolls down. So I'm wondering if it's like using the scroll into view as the entire viewport, or is it using its kind of parent container, which would be this container right here with the fixed height of 80 view height.
So the container you just selected, this is the one that has a scroll.
Yes, this is the one that has overflow scroll, and inside of that is the collection list, and then the end of container div underneath that. Yeah, I don't have much more.
Can you show me again the ID just to be sure?
Yep. Here we are. End of container. I don't need to add the pound sign, correct?
Yes, it's okay like this.
0 pixel height. Would it be because the end of container div is not inside of the collection list, but the collection list does not have overflow?
Well, normally it should scroll to
the end of container regardless.
And in here you can scroll, right?
Yeah, here I can scroll.
And when you scroll,
the end of containers right here at the bottom, that dashed line. Yeah, like I said, I don't want you to have to sit here and diagnose it for too long. So yeah, maybe I can just upload like a Loom video on the community and just show the whole structure of it, how I have it set up.
Yeah,
if that makes it easier.
We can take a look, or you can just create a ticket with credentials on the ticketing app, so we could check ourselves. Maybe it's easier.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that then. I'll do that. Yeah, I don't want us to sit here in silence for the next 10 minutes just racking our brains.
you can still try on the community, because we've got some people that are really good at CSS too. So maybe I think Roberto, for example, will maybe have an answer. So
okay, nice.
But
let's try to do it in the community, and if we configure out, we'll take a look ourselves.
Okay, perfect. That sounds great to me, guys. Thank you so much.
Sorry, no worries.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Thank you again.
Bye.
Bye.
Pascal is asking Xano or Supabase. So it's a broad question, so I will invite you again. And there's no right answer for this. I mean, it depends.
It depends. Yeah. It depends on your skills of your collaborators, and then what you want to build.
Hello again. Yes, I saw there were no more questions, so I thought I could ask this one. Basically, I spent the last week testing both Xano and Supabase. I ended up with the conclusion that I would go with Supabase, first of all, because I'm quite happy with CQL. I had the impression that Supabase may be better in terms of security issues. But my real query is more about cost. I'm always lost with all these tools, trying to understand how much it's going to cost. And I went on some forums, and I found that some comments saying that Xano could become expensive quite fast, but I did not understand why. why Xano would become expensive.
I don't remember what their pricing.
Yeah, for the
metrics.
pricing, it's a bit hard for us to answer because it changed. The best way is to contact their support and ask them really all the questions you have about pricing. Just ask them because sometimes it depends on what you are going to do. If you are going to work alone or with collaborators, if you need to depending on the feature you need, on the amount of data you are going to use, on the storage. So you've got many, variables that are really, I mean, at your discretion. So the best way is to ask them really to have an idea of the cost. And for the security, it works in a different way. So in Xano, you are protecting each endpoint. So for each endpoint you have, you can easily put a rule to access this endpoint. So all Xano can access the database. You won't play with RLS in Xano. It's really at the endpoint level. So it's easier to manage role and permissions in there. And it's quite powerful. And also in terms of the amount of data you can have in Xano, we have clients who are having millions of records in Xano, and you have no issues there.
But
in Supabase, it be a bit. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. That means I need to do an endpoint for each role.
For each, sorry,
each kind of role.
Of what role?
Role, yes.
Role? No. Because what you can do in fact, the real difference is that you do the security at the database level using SQL rules in Supabase when it's endpoint in Xano, but in Xano endpoints you can do them in no code, and you can use the user token, for example. So you could say this user, I get him, he's got this role, so he can access this, for example, and everything is like is at the endpoint level. So you would use only one endpoint, and the endpoint will have the logic. When in Supabase, the endpoint would be totally opened, but the database will be like, I should do this because this user is X or Y, you know?
Okay.
So it's not at the same level. It can become a bit complicated in Supabase if you have complex role and permissions, if you are not technical, because you're going to have to do it in SQL. So if you are familiar with it and it does not scare you, then this is really a good fit, Supabase. But if you don't want to play with code and Supabase, for example, if you need to add, we talked about logic earlier, you're going to have to create an edge function in Supabase. So you're going to have to code to really to code an edge function if you want to do it in JavaScript, or you're going to have to create a view, like we said before, in SQL. So if you know you can do that and it doesn't scare you, then Supabase is a good fit. If you don't want to code, Xano is a better fit because you're going to be able to put all this logic in no code.
Yeah.
In Xano.
And I'd say for using, like I use both for use cases in WeWeb, and it's harder in Supabase to do custom things compared to Xano, but Supabase is like secured by default because it's using RLS. When in Xano, you need to remember that every time you're creating an endpoint, you should secure it. So it's kind of a different philosophy, but in the end, you can do the same thing with both. It's just like a philosophy, a different tool. And also, I would say that, they are the biggest one, but also in the middle, new tools are also coming. So we'll do maybe plugins next year. And you've got new tools that are kind of in between Xano and Supabase. So if you want something that's as powerful as having a real Postgres database, but also having a way to do workflows in endpoints in a no-code way, I could also give you link to other tools. But I say they are the same. Just that if you have, like as Flo said, custom endpoints in Supabase, it's kind of hard to do them. And in Xano, it's just that you have to redo the security, but custom endpoints are really easy to do.
Okay. Would you say they compare in terms of performance?
We never heard one better than the other. Really.
Okay.
And to answer
the only
that,
difference is that Supabase, you can have like self-hosting. So if you need really strong server, you can self-host, but it's a bit hard to do. But Xano has on-premise. So in the end, if you have like really big databases, they can host it on your infrastructure.
Because when I tested both on the same volume of data, which is a small volume of data for the moment, because it's just for my POC, I found that screens were refreshing slower in WeWeb when using Xano. But maybe it's because I did not publish anything so far. I'm still on the...
Xano free plan is slower than Supabase free plan, but when you're paying, it's the same.
Okay, that's why. Okay, that's very clear.
You're welcome, Pascal. And just to answer Zachary, that is saying that they have compliance documents now, Supabase. I think Xano too, if you ask for them. They also have many compliance documents to be sure that they take care of your data and they won't look into it and so on. But all the classic paper, you can ask for them. I know we know they have them.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're
no worries.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, no more questions, and we are. Oh, sorry, I kicked Flo instead. Sorry, Flo. That means I'm fired now. Nice. This will stay in the.
You kicked me
in the recording. I kicked my boss live. Yeah, nice. So we don't have any questions, and we are only 15 minutes late. So better than last time.
Better than last time, yes.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for your questions. Again, I sent many docs to the YouTube channel, and the docs, don't hesitate to check them because many questions are already answered on them, hopefully. And we'll see each other next week, same time, same day, same time for the new office hours with all your questions. See ya, and have a great evening or a great day.
Bye, everyone.